Hey Frank, just given the challenges of this season, tonight you don't have KCP or Caruso. How important is it to have a bench that can come in and change the game energy wise, which seems to happen in this one?
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about our team is our depth and our ability to handle a couple of guys being out in particular at the same position, defensive same position anyway. They got our chasers, but those guys played well. West, Talon, Trez, and Keefe really gave us a lift off the bench and big part of the victory.
Just specifically with Montrez, Frank, what did you see from him tonight?
Energy, I mean he just you have to honor everything he does on the offensive end, whether he's ducking in or rolling to the basket. He's really picked up his offensive rebounding, from early in the season, and obviously gives great defensive, determination and fight as well with his communication. And I thought he did a great job, not only rebounding the ball defensively, but boxing out. You know what I mean? And this is a selfless thing to give yourself up to get your body into a bigger guy like Valanciunas, and let some of the guards, or you saw Braun with 13 defensive rebounds. Let some of the guards come back and rebound while he's doing the dirty work underneath and wiping the crashers off the glass. It doesn't show up in the box score, but really did a great job with that.
And Frank, not the first time that we've seen LeBron take over in a fourth quarter. I just wonder your perspective on the sideline when you're seeing him do that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him a blow so he doesn't play the whole fourth quarter, and he keeps making big plays. It's tough to take him out. So we were able to find a spot, to get him a rest, so we don't overdo it in the fourth. But he was terrific. You know what I mean? He knew what he wanted to go to in terms of the action that he wanted to exploit in their defense, and we kept putting him in that action, and he delivered. Big shots, big plays with the pass, and obviously brought us home offensively during that fourth quarter.
Dave, Frank, last game we were asking you about Anthony being a 6'11" guy who's shooting threes off the bounce. Today, I think a 6-point game. There's a high screen for LeBron. LeBron's with a pocket pass, and he's shooting a floater. Can you speak about the variety of his skill set, and in particular, a floater from a 6'11" guy?
Yeah, I mean he can shoot. He can do it all. Anthony's shot making is what makes him a top five player in this league. And whether it's in the low post with all his footwork moves, his ability to jab and shoot over guys, his hooks around the basket, his ability to finish around the basket on rolls and offensive rebounds, and the three ball, and you saw tonight the floater. So he really can do it all.
Yeah.
Hey Frank, there was a sequence I think where Memphis had three guys kind of crashing the offensive rebound as a loose ball, and LeBron was the guy that was fastest to it, took you guys the other way, and got you out in transition. You talked for like this isn't a guy you can hold back because of his competitiveness. Like if he's on the court, he's gonna go. What have you thought of his effort levels and knowing kind of his short off season, just seeing that competitiveness sort of just take over and kind of push in nights like tonight?
No, I love it. I mean, we'll manage, his minutes and all that stuff in a responsible way. But when he's out on the floor, like that's who he is. He's as competitive as anybody in the league, and um, like I said, 13 defensive rebounds. That's hard to do when you're not a center. I mean that's just competitive spirit, wanting to win, and being determined. And obviously he carried a big offensive scoring load, but what he did, like you said, in those stretches defensively, we held these guys to 40 points in the second half. After 36 in the first quarter, so really did it on both ends of the floor.
Is 32 minutes kind of the target, the rough target for him on a nightly basis? Seems like that you guys have been around that a lot.
Just be responsible. That's the only target. Just try to be responsible with it.
I'm sure you're going to want to look at film for this, but you mentioned, KCP, Alex being out at the same position defensively. Do you feel like that had a lot to do with how you guys were rotating in the first half and getting behind initially?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think the speed that those two guys bring to the table and the connectivity, there's a lot of scrambling and rotating and working off the next man that, I think, those two guys have spent a lot of time together over the last few years, but also with our group last year, that it's just a little bit slow with some of the reads, when you're rotating in the defense like that. So we did lack some of that early on, but our guys are vets and they're pros, and I thought they did a good job figuring out a game. After we've seen this with our group several times last year, even a couple times this year, where it takes the first quarter to sort of figure out what the other team's attack is going to look like, and what we have to do to adjust in game, to get them under control. And you see second quarter 18 points, third quarter 21 points, fourth quarter 19. After a 36-point first quarter, that's what we're looking for. That's figuring out an opponent, making the in-game adjustments, and doing what's necessary to get a win.
Last question, Jovan.
Hey Frank, with Alex and KCP out the last couple of games, Talon has played consecutive season high, minute totals. I'm curious what you thought of his performance as he started to play more.
Yeah, he's carrying a much bigger load, obviously, than he was early in the season, and we haven't had a lot of practice time, so all of our guys are struggling to get their legs really under them. Talon had some really good bursts. He's still a young player, and had some coverages that that he missed early in the game that, like the rest of the group, he figured out and got better as the game went along. But we just love what that young man brings to the table in terms of his two-way productivity. Also got to the rim a few times tonight. I think he knocked down a three. So he brings a lot to the table.